Today we are doing lesson 6.1, percents and decimals. Our I can statements for today: I can write percents as decimals, I can write decimals as percents, and I can solve real life problems. All right, so our key idea writing percents as decimals. You remove the percent symbol and divide by 100, and that is the same thing as taking that decimal point and moving it 2 places to the left. So if you see here 23%, they added a decimal at the end since there wasn't a decimal place, and they moved it 2 places over to the left, and that tells us the decimal version that means the same thing as a percent. So let's see, for this one, write 52% as a decimal. We're going to put a decimal point at the end since there isn't one in the problem. We're going to move it 2 places over, and then we're going to write it with our decimal in the new place, 52 hundredths. That's the decimal. That means the same thing as 52%. That's percent means out of 100. 52 out of 100 is 52 hundredths. It's written that way. All right, 7%. So 7 out of 100 would mean 7 hundredths. If we're doing the move the decimal place, here I need a placeholder 0 in order to move that decimal 2 places over. So I have 7 hundredths as my decimal. 7 out of 100 for 7% means 7 hundredths. Okay, go ahead and pause the video and try these next 4 on your own. Don't worry about the use a model part. All right, let's go ahead and check our answer. So 24%, move the decimal 2 places to the left, gives us 24 hundredths. 3%, we move the decimal 2 places over, placeholder 0 gives us 3 hundredths. 107%, move the decimal 2 places over, gives us 1 7 hundredths. Any percent more than 100 is going to give you a whole number as part of your answer. And then 92 7/10% here, this one already has a decimal in place for us. We just need to move it over 2 places, and that's going to give us 927 thousandths. All right, our next key idea is the opposite. If we start with the decimal version and we want the percent version, we can multiply by 100, or you can move the decimal 2 places to the right and then make sure to put a percent symbol on your answer. Okay, let's try some of these. Write 47 hundredths as a percent. We move our decimal 2 places to the right. We have 47%. If you're having trouble keeping track of which way to move the decimal, you can just think the percent number looks bigger than the decimal number. They actually mean the same thing, but when you don't have it in decimal form, the number looks bigger. 47 looks bigger than 47 hundredths. All right, let's take a look at this next one. Write 663 thousandths as a percent. We move that decimal 2 places over. It's like multiplying by 100. That gives us 66 3/10%. Sometimes you do have a decimal in your percent answer. That's fine, but percent form, you know it's a percent form because it has a percent sign at the end. So you write 1 8/10 as a percent. Whoops, didn't mean to write down there. 1 2 places over. We don't have enough places, so we add a placeholder 0, and we get 180%. And here, write 9 thousandths as a percent. 1 2 places to the right. We still have a decimal, 9/10%. Okay, go ahead, pause the video, try these next 4. Again, don't worry about the use a model part. Write the decimal as a percent. All right, let's go ahead and check our answers. So if I move my decimal 2 places over, I get 94%. For number 6, 1 2/10, 2 places over to the right, add a placeholder 0, we have 120%. For 7, 316 thousandths, we move the decimal 1 2 places to the right, gives us 31 6/10%. Don't forget that percent sign. And number 8, we have 5 thousandths. We move the decimal 1 2 places over, and we get 5/10%. In example 3, on a math test, you get 92 out of a possible 100 points. Which of the following is not another way of expressing 92 out of 100? All right, so we need to figure out which one is the different one. So let's talk just for a moment about changing a percent into a fraction, or what out of means. So percent means out of 100. So 92 out of 100 means the same thing as 92%. So I know it's not this one because we're looking at which one does not work. Okay. Now let's take, since we know this is 92%, let's change it into a decimal. If I move my decimal 1, 2 places over, I get 92 hundredths, which is this one. So that one is another way of saying 92 out of 100. Okay, and then if I was going to write 92 out of 100 as a fraction, it would look like this. 92% as a fraction, 92 out of 100, means 92 over 100. I have two fractions to choose from. One of them equals 92 out of 100, one of them doesn't. So we're going to take a look at how to simplify this one so that we can see what our answer is going to be. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at our fraction here, 92 and 100. Let's see, I know they're both divisible by 2, so I'll start there. If it ends in a 2 and ends in a 0, then they're divisible by 2. So let's see, 92 divided by 2, I'm going to just double check it with some long division. 2 goes into 9 4 times. 4 times 2 is 8. I subtract 9 minus 8 and I get 1, and then I bring down my 2. 2 goes into 12 6 times exactly. Okay, so I get 46 out of 50. Okay, that still doesn't match one of these two. So I'm going to keep simplifying. I know both of those are divisible by 2. 46 divided by 2 equals 23. 50 divided by 2 is 25. So my simplest form of 92 out of 100 is 23 over 25. So that one does work, which means 17 out of 20 is the one that is not equal. Okay, let's take a look at this next one here. So it says the figure shows the portions of ultraviolet rays reflected by 4 different surfaces. How many times more UV rays are reflected by water than sea foam? How many times more tells us that we are going to divide. Now it looks like multiplication here, but if I was saying something was, I don't know, let's see, somebody had 6 cookies and somebody had 2 cookies, and I want to know how many times more, I would divide 6 divided by 2 to figure out, okay, well, if I did 2 times 3, I get that answer of 6. So how many times more you divide to get how many times more it would be. Okay, so saying that, how many times more? Division, and we divide in the order that they tell us here. Water divided by sea foam. Okay, so my water number here is 21/25. My sea foam number is 25%. Now, in order to do this problem, I need to change them into the same form. So I can make them both fractions, I can make them both percents, I can make them both decimals, it doesn't really matter. I think I'm going to go ahead and do fraction form. So 25%, remember percent means out of 100. So 25% means 25 over 100. So if I have 21 over 25 divided by 25 over 100, let's see, I could do keep change flip, 21 over 25 times 100 over 25. All right, I'm going to cross cancel because I've got some pretty big numbers here. 25 divided by 25 is 1. 100 divided by 25 is 4. So let's see, 21 times 4 is 84. 1 times 25 is 25. This is an improper fraction, so I'm going to need to make it a mixed number. let's see, 25 goes into 84 3 times. 3 times 25 is 75. And let's see, I can't do 4 minus 5 without going into the negative, so I'm going to borrow. I'll make that a 7. I'll make this a 14. 14 minus 5 is 9. 7 minus 7 is 0. So my answer here is 3 and 9 25ths times more. Now if I wanted to, I could make them both decimals. I could make them both percents. But I decided to make them both fractions. So 3 and 9 25ths times more. All right, here are 2 more to try on your own. For number 10, it says how many times more UV rays are reflected by water than by sand. Let's go get those numbers real quick before you have to work on it on your own. So let's see, water is still 21 25ths, sand is 15 hundredths. So for this one, you'll end up doing 21 25ths divided by 15 hundredths. Double check, make sure those numbers are right. Yep, 15 hundredths for the sand. Okay. All right, go ahead and pause the video and try these 2 problems on your own. All right, let's check our answers. So 18 out of 100. That is our fraction, but it's not simplified. And when we're writing things as fractions, we do always want to simplify it. So I'm going to divide both of these by 2, because I know 2 goes into both 18 and 100. That would give me 9 50ths as my fraction. 18 out of 100 as a percent. Out of 100 means percent, so that would be 18%. And then as a decimal, I'll take this, I'll move the decimal 2 places over. It would give me this. 18 hundredths means the same thing as 18 out of 100. All right, and then let's look at number 10. So for example 4, how many times more UV rays are reflected by water than sand? All right, let's see. I have one that is a decimal. I have one that is a fraction. And we need to put them in the same form before we can compare them. So I think I'll go ahead and change my fraction into a decimal. And I do that with division. 21 divided by 25. 25 does not go into 21 a whole number of times, so I need to add a 0 and a decimal, and a decimal and a 0. All right, now I'm thinking 25 into 210. You might have to do a little guess and check here, but I know my 25s, if I'm thinking about quarters, $2.10. If I was thinking $2.10, there would be 4 quarters in each of those dollars. So 8 together. So 8 times 25 gives me 200. 8 quarters make $2. When I subtract, I get 10. I'm not done yet, so I need to add a decimal. Bring it down. 25 goes into 104 times. Okay, so 21 over 25 equals the same thing as 84 hundredths. I need to divide 84 hundredths divided by 15 hundredths. If I'm dividing by decimals, that second number, we've got to get rid of the decimal places. I'm going to move it 2 places over. Move this 2 places over, so now I have 84 divided by 15 will tell me my answer, which I'm going to do over here. 84 divided by 15. All right, so let's see. 15 times 5 is going to give me 75. $84 minus 75 is 9. And let's see, since I have decimal form over here, I'm going to go ahead and just keep on dividing as a decimal. I could make it a mixed number if I wanted to. All right, so 15 goes into 96 times. So my answer is going to be 5.6 times more. And if you did it as a mixed number, it would have been, this was our 9 as a remainder, 5 and 9/15, which simplifies to 5 and 3/5 times more. So either 5.6 or 5 and 3/5 times more, either is an acceptable answer. All right, here are 2 more problems to finish on your own. Go ahead and pause the video and finish these sentences. All right, so to write a percent as a decimal, we move the decimal a little closer together. Let me move it over so you can see it. Move the decimal 2 places to the left. So if I had 50%, I'd move it 2 places over to the left. That would give me my decimal. And if I had a decimal and I was writing it as a percent, we would move the decimal 2 places right. So if I started with 75 hundredths, move that decimal 2 places right, and then I end up with 75%.